Guys, thank you. That's very, very kind. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you, sir. Nice to meet you. No, all the best. Thank you. Let the game carry on. Let the game carry on. Thank you. Fine. Okay, I'm here. Okay. Let the game play on. The game is always bigger. Calling on Rusha.
Yeah, thank you, Abdul. Good afternoon, dear media friends. I, Shubhrajit, on behalf of Delhi Public School, Shiliguri family, welcome all of you. This year we continue our tradition of recognizing excellence in cricket through the 19th Suresh Raina School Cricket Championship.
Thank you for the question. Good morning. I think I've been involved with cricket since 1992 at international level. And it was quite interesting to see how the changes only came about since the IPL's introduction. Because up until then, people spoke about my fielding, but no one really focused on fielding. But T20 cricket certainly showed that there's no place to hide anybody. I think the standards of fielding now are superb. I've been a fielding coach for 16 years, and I'm amazed by what the players do. So I think what has been incredible for me, the development of fielding in India. I think at the start of my Indian Premier League coaching, if there were 10 catches of the year, maybe 7 were from international players and only 2 or 3 from Indian players. Now if there's 10 catches of the IPL, you'll have at least 7 Indian players making those catches. So I think that also shift came about under Virat Kohli's leadership in India, because he was dropping players for not being fit enough. You obviously can't be a good fielder if you don't have fitness, speed and agility on your side. So I'm blown away by what players do on the field and off the field to bring the ball back in. The fielding standards these days. And it's not about one. In my era, one good fielder in a team. Now it's the entire team have to be of a very high standard. Yeah, I'm impressed.
In these days, who is your favorite fielder?
Tough question. I think, there's so many great players around. Glenn Phillips from New Zealand is fantastic. I'm still a big fan of Suresh Raina. Even though he's retired. But Jadeja for me is somebody who feels everywhere. In the beginning of the game,
he's in the ring at backward points and covers. In the latter part of the games, he's in the hot spots, which mid-wicket, long on. So he's certainly somebody who can change the game, the course of the game, through his fielding. He's a great all-rounder, and he's a true all-rounder, because all 3 disciplines these days, he covers really well. Jadeja is probably number 1. Sorry guys, sorry brother, let somebody else have a chance. Who's losing their glamour?
Test.
Well, I think that's for the fans to say. It's the cricket players still want to play cricket. If I'm a cricket player, I had a choice between making my name anywhere. I want to be a good and a renowned test player, because it's called test for a reason. It's a real test of not just your cricketing skills, but also your mental capacity and your ability to take on stress in all conditions. So I don't think Test cricket has lost its glamour at all. So you've still got players who want to play Test cricket. Maybe not in the West Indies. They don't want to. There's money to be made elsewhere. But they've got great athletes who do really well in T20, and you wonder why they don't do well or better in Test cricket. But the glamour from the player's point of view has not gone. Test cricket is still the ultimate challenge as a cricket player. The temperament of the batters. It's the same as the bowlers. The bowlers now are bowling maybe 6 different deliveries every over in Test cricket. So Bazball came in, it kind of blew people away, and a lot of people are. Australia, a lot of players are following suit. So it's not a case of what is the temperament of the batters. The whole game has changed. The days of soaking up pressure, dot ball after dot ball, scoring 20 off 100 balls is gone. People want to see cricket, they want to see results, and sometimes it's exciting. A 3-4 day test match is still an exciting test match. So it's nothing about the temperament of the batters. But yes, I see that T20 cricket has certainly had an influence on the 5-day game. There's fewer and fewer test-only players, but there still is a case for those kind of players who are only playing test cricket for their country. Hold on, my A&R friend here. Virat Kohli is an amazing player. I mean, that sort of record, superb. Rohit Sharma is exactly the same. They've got incredible test careers. It happens. Yeah. Favorite? I'm saying one of the best fielders. Yeah, one of the best fielders in the world.
Do you think they can beat you in pretty sector?
Man, my fielding, I never had to go further than backward point or gully. The things that they are doing on the boundary, I didn't even dream of doing as a cricket player. So I think and that's what every generation does, and it's the same thing at the school, and that's why we senior people like to give our experience. We don't want them to be another Jonty Rhodes. We want them to take the learnings that I have from my career, my mistakes and the things that I did well, but to be even better. Because if you try and be another Sachin Tendulkar that's crazy. I mean, you have certain standards and levels that you aspire to, but each player, each generation, I think gets better and better. So I think the players now in the field surpass what I did. I just worked at backward point. They now do things. Glenn Maxwell took a catch the other day where he caught the ball, threw it back in mid-air, ran back in. So these sort of things we weren't even thinking about in my generation. So yes, they comfortably surpass what I did in the field.
Mr. Rhodes,
Yes, sir.
How you are in South Africa in ICC World Championship final?
Yeah.
Is it the golden era of South African cricket?
I am obviously very happy. I spent 5 months in India and I spent 6 months in South Africa. So India and South African cricket is obviously close to my heart. Tough for India now in Australia, but for me as a South African, and especially seeing where South African cricket was 2 or 3 years ago, where we were middle of the table or 6th or 7th in the Test Championship or in the Test standings. So to be able to qualify for the World Test Championship final, I think is an incredible feat by the South African players, the captain, the coach, and it's really good to see. Because if you look at our squad, well, of international stars in Test cricket, we don't have a whole bunch, but obviously South Africa plays really well as a team in pretty tough and pressurized situations. So yes, very happy.
What about the ODI's performance? South Africa recently lost 3 matches in Pakistan.
People lose matches. What are you trying to say? What are you asking?
I'm talking about the performance. South African team performance in ODI matches.
Yeah.
Recently Pakistan beat South Africa 3 matches.
They're not a good team? They're not a bad team? What, Pakistan? It's not possible? Why do you ask? I saw Bumrah for the first time when he came to Mumbai Indians as a very young man, and the scouting under John Wright was exceptional. Akshay Patel and Bumrah came together in their first season of IPL, and everyone thought he was just an awkward kid with a rather strange, unique bowling action. And I think we saw how Lasith Malinga had decimated sort of batting teams just because of his uniqueness of his action. And Bumrah, even though it's not a Malinga, it's slightly different. And the amazing thing about working with Bumrah as a fielding coach was a bit frustrating to start with. He wasn't the best fielder, but he worked at it. But just his growth as a bowler, every game, every practice, he looked to improve, learn something. And he had one of the masters of the game, Malinga, as a mentor in the team for Mumbai Indians. So, it's, you know, young players are given an opportunity, but do they take it? Bumrah took it. So that for me was a sign of somebody who wanted to go far, because every time he came down to a practice session or every time he watched a game, he didn't play many matches in his first season, he was learning about his own game from his own performance and from other people's performance. So that's always a mark of somebody who's going to go far. Someone who wants to get better every time they come down to practice or they're involved in a game. So yeah, I've seen his progress from up close, and he's a special player, and he's unique, and I think that's also why he's a very awkward customer to deal with. He's not the customary pace or technique that you're accustomed to facing day in and day out as a cricket player.
So last thing from my side, do you have any wish to be a part of Indian cricket team?
Well, Yes, I mean, I've obviously applied. I've applied in the past as a fielding coach. I've applied once before. This time around, when Gautam Gambhir came in, there was a lot of speculation that I was actually getting involved. I hadn't put my name forward. So I think from a point of view where India do have the most experienced team every year, they play the most cricket, it's probably something that I won't be able to take on in the future, in that it's such a demanding time as a family, and it's a very tough job to have. So at the moment, if an opportunity came up, I wouldn't even put my name in the hat like it happened this last time. I didn't make myself available for selection. Well, I never played under Temba Bavuma, so I can't give you any input. You can't. What can you judge from television? I mean, it's great to watch, but it's removed from the action, because the action is usually what's happening in the dressing room or quietly on the field. So Hansi Cronje was my captain. Temba Bavuma, I don't know him at all as a captain. So difficult to judge. Yes, sir. You look back at the growth of Indian cricket since the IPL in 2008. What would you say the trajectory was of Indian cricket? This or this? You think it was flat? 2000 yeah, so exactly. So I think what the IPL does, and again here, which I'm really excited to see what the Delhi Public School is offering here through young cricket players need a platform. They really need a platform. And in India, there's such a growth mindset. People want to use every opportunity. I spoke about Bumrah taking that opportunity, but this was nearly 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Now we've seen that players just are begging for an opportunity to showcase their skills. I mean, this game has been live streamed. I mean, isn't that amazing? You've got young players who not only are thinking, okay, at the IPL, it's at every level of the game, there's an opportunity to showcase their skills. And I think that is so important. And again, what I love about this concept is that even at schoolboy level, they have this opportunity. I mean, I was watching the game on the way in the vehicle, being live streamed. So that for me, I think South African, the SA20 will do hopefully the same for South Africa. Guys like Ryan Rickleton, not a young player, but certainly somebody who showcased his skill in the SA20 last year. Now suddenly he's in the mix with the one day, the test, and T20. So it certainly does. And that's probably India's biggest problem. They have this incredible supply of talented young players. What to do with them? You know, India at one stage had 3 teams going on tour. Shikhar Dhawan had a team in Sri Lanka, Rohit, you know, and they were winning. So I think that's the one, as a former South African cricket player, that I hope, like we see here at the Delhi Public School, is that give young players an opportunity and they will certainly show the skills that they have. Well, I think my advice to school students especially is that it's not the be-all and the end-all of your career. It doesn't define who you are. My parents were both teachers when I was at school. My father was a school principal, my mother a kindergarten teacher. But for them it was a case of living a balanced life. So sport was important, equally was schoolwork. And I think this is also, even though there's this opportunity to, as I said, showcase the cricketing skills, it's a part of a balanced education, which Delhi Public School obviously here in Siliguri is offering. Because it's not just about cricket, it's not just about academics. It's about giving people the opportunity to showcase their skill. It might be in the classroom, it might be in the music, it might be in any part of the extracurriculum facilities. And I think that is the key, is that a cricket team and a team is always made up of unique individuals. And if they're given the opportunity to play to their strengths, they will shine. And that's what school should be about, giving kids the opportunity to shine in the areas that they're passionate about.